Thanks for being with us, everybody, and for putting up with this time before Bible study. Well, actually, for putting up with Bible study as well. Chapter 18 today, we start off the week with a chapter, I would say for the first time in a couple chapters, Michael, this one does have, I think, kind of a couple of through lines. Lots about speaking in this chapter, lots about words and what we say, the fool's lips, the wise person's words, etc. We've seen that before, but there's a fairly prevalent theme throughout here. Probably the first one that really grabbed my attention would be verse 2. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, and then this is the part I think that I like the most, but only in expressing personal opinion. I could go on all afternoon about the time in which we live where opinion and fact are seen as synonymous. And I find it very helpful and cautionary that the book of Proverbs points out that when you are expressing personal opinion, you are on potentially foolish grounds.
Yeah, and it's not just that you express a personal opinion. I do think it's nuanced. I looked at verse 1 here, Clint. The one who lives alone is self-indulgent, showing contempt for all who have sound judgment. When you're out there, speaking to verse 2, speaking your personal opinion, and you are the only one speaking it, I think one must sort of assess your circumstance, right? Either you are a genius who's seeing something that no one else can see, or, and the more statistically probable, maybe you're standing alone because you're wrong. And I do think that one must come to this with some sense of humility to recognize, not that numbers make right. I'm not saying that just because everybody's going down in the same direction, that means that is automatically right. But I do think one should take pause when one's voice is alone, because that's not generally a good marker of wisdom.
Well, and if you look at the parable, that's offset against taking pleasure in understanding. The fool takes no pleasure in understanding because they're expressing their personal opinion. So the voicing of opinion is at least possibly the thing that keeps them from gaining more understanding. And I just feel like we live in a time where we have access to such widespread communication with Twitter and Facebook and et cetera. We have multiple ways to express our opinion and fewer ways to seek understanding. This is you and I have had this conversation before, but I'll subject Facebook to this rant briefly. This is why it's fascinating to me when I see things that just are blatantly untrue. Somebody will post a story that is just crazy, and you Google the first 2 words of it, and the real thing pops up. And you think the great irony of our time is that people are using the same device to spread falsehood that in 20 seconds they could verify truth. But they're only doing half of that. And I think that may be my social media proverb of the day. I wish I'd quit calling them parables.
So, Clint, I was thinking about this over the weekend, and I was thinking, how everybody on Facebook has suddenly become like virus experts. I was imagining being an epidemiologist like in January or like December, right? And you would get on Facebook and you know what, somebody's cat or somebody's opinion about the latest Starbucks drink, whatever. Now you're an epidemiologist and you get on and suddenly all of Facebook has an opinion about your job, right? Like they all know the stuff and whatever. I was thinking, how funny would it be if we got on our phones and suddenly everybody was talking about Trinitarian theology and whether John Calvin and Barth could be reconciled, and suddenly everybody knows the answers.
But I think maybe that's even because in my circles, at least, most of the people who are talking virology, I don't think could name the parts of a cell.
Yeah.
They're clearly not experts. I know these people. They are not. They've not been to medical school. No, it's not. Yeah. So expressing one's personal opinion. We should probably move on before we beat this to death. But that's a good one. The next one, verse 9, a more classical proverb, I think. One who is slack in work is close kin to a vandal. Again, laziness is strongly cautioned against in the book of Proverbs. One who is slack in other words, one who cuts corners is almost like one who vandalizes, who leaves things undone, who leaves things, in some cases, damaged. And I think that's good. I like that one.
Yeah, we like to think of vandalism as an action that you do, but the idea that slacking can actually itself be a form of disrepair. Mm-hmm. Verse 13, if one gives answer before hearing, it is folly and shame. That does not just mean that someone else has spoken and moved the air with their voice, but that you actually listen. If you answer before listening, it is folly and shame. And friends, that requires a kind of engagement and interest in the other that requires intentionality. I would even say discipline. It takes a disciplined person to really listen, and I think all of us could practice that in really every season.
Yeah, so I'm going to swear everybody to secrecy, but it took me somewhere between 15 and 20 years of being married to realize I didn't listen to my wife. If we were disagreeing about something, I was only listening so I knew how to respond. I was not hearing what she was saying. I was listening to the argument so I could then attack it and tear it apart. And on the day I realized that, that was very humbling. It was very convicting to think, I'm not trying to hear what she's saying. I'm trying to listen to where the holes are so that I can fight back.
Right.
Oof, that's not a good practice.
By the way, I know many of us are a long ways away from college and from writing papers and that kind of thing. This is a beef I have with the education model, in which everything is about what's your opinion, argue your opinion about said topic, because what ends up happening is you learn how to respond to things without actually caring about the thing. It's all about what can you create, not what is the merit of the thing that you have. And I remember the moment when I read something that it was a theologian in this case that they wrote, that the magnificence of it literally set me back. I thought, the mind that would write that, I do not deserve to have an opinion about. I don't deserve to get to argue against that. Not that there's not an argument. It's just truly listening can lead to some beautiful things.
Yeah, so this will mean something to you, Michael, and I'll try briefly to make it mean something to listeners. There's a theologian named Karl Barth, maybe the most prominent theologian of the 20th century, a German theologian. And the question that has always plagued Karl Barth's work is whether Karl Barth was a universalist. In other words, whether Karl Barth thought that everybody would, in the ultimate sense, be saved, whether what happened in Jesus was big enough that it would apply to everyone or not. And people asked him the question, and he would never answer one way or another. He said the gospel gives us reason to hope. And so I have this class in Karl Barth. We have the first class, we get the introduction, we get the reading. We come back for the second class, and one of my classmates, who's gone on to be a very good pastor, says, I don't understand how anyone can say Karl Barth's not a universalist. It's obvious. Now, at this point, we have read 30 pages of a man who wrote 100,000 pages, 500,000 pages.
Shelves of books.
Literally wrote a systematic theology that guided most of 20th century thinking, late 20th century thinking. And I remember thinking, I bet we haven't answered that question in the 30 pages of the introductory book that everybody has read. And so, yeah, if we answer before we've listened, it is folly and it is shameful. And I've done it hundreds of times, spoken before thinking. We've all done it, but it's not good.
I think that mine's a little bit farther down the road, Clint. I'm looking at 24. Do you have anything before that?
Yeah, like 17, the one who first states a case seems right until another comes and cross-examines.
Yeah.
Listen to both sides.
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing. And I think saying this to a young person, like, yeah, you may have a class and it may go this way, but then there's another side. Listen to both sides. Listen where you can. Learn where you can. I think that's not jumping to conclusions is important. Then I also had 21 circled, Michael. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. I mentioned earlier that this chapter has lots of speaking stuff in it. Death and life are in the power of tongue. We have the freedom, we have the invitation, we have the ability to literally speak life or speak death into the world and into the lives of others. We can speak in ways that bring joy, or we can speak in ways that bring pain. We can say things that are good, or we can say things that are evil. And, that it never hurts to be reminded of that.
Clint, there are a lot of things that over the years the church has at one time proclaimed to be essential and important. And it's not that we don't think that they're important, but we emphasize them less. And one of those things is confession. And what I mean in this moment is more profession, what we believe. Christian, what do you believe? If you worship with us regularly, we have the affirmation of faith, these oftentimes very ancient professions that Christians have always attested as what we believe. And I don't know if you've given a lot of thought to that, but there is significance in saying the thing that you believe is true. And those aren't ancillary. We shouldn't take that lightly. In fact, it was just, 2 weeks ago, we had someone write in with a question about one of our affirmations of faith. I welcome that. I encourage that. That's not just a thing you should do in 8th grade, pass the test, and get out. We should be very actively asking ourselves, what is it that we say that we believe is true and right and good? Because what we say has the power to shape our life. James talks about the small rudder moves an entire ship. And it's not just not saying bad things. I think we get preoccupied with that. I don't want to swear. No. What do you say that is a reflection of the right and the good and the truth? And do you care about that? Because that has a way of shaping one's life.
Yeah, I think it's a powerful image to think that our words can literally convey death or life into the world, that we can speak life or death into reality. We can. The power of our words are such that they add, on the balance scale of good and bad, they add to one side or the other. I think that's a very challenging way to think.
Last one I had was verse 24. Some friends play at friendship, but a true friend sticks closer than one's nearest kin. This is actually really close to some more secular proverbs, but I think there's significant truth in identifying not only one's motives in friendship, but how one responds in cases of adversity. And I can sort of already see in the horizon, I think my eldest is going to have some learning to do when it relates to friendship. I think there are times when we've had to ask her, are you being treated by your friend the way that Christ would treat you, or that someone else should treat you? And sometimes as a parent, I feel like it's clear that she's not, but she's not on the same page there. But I wonder if there's not a good lesson for young people in this. How another treats you matters and should determine how close of a friendship you will be willing to take with them.
Well, and it's interesting, our modern use of the word friend. For instance, on Facebook.
Right.
When we get tired of listening to someone rant about something, we unfriend them.
Right.
We snooze the friendship. We put the friendship on hold. Or the fact that we call friends people we haven't spoken to in years, but we look at their pictures when they post their cat or their trip to Hawaii. What does friend mean? And we use that to cover a vast amount of ground relationally. And so I think this is a good call to gratitude for the real friends, the people in your life that you can trust and that you are connected to. There's certainly nothing wrong with acquaintances and with Facebook and all of the stuff that goes with it. But that small circle of people whom are in your trust and good graces, that they are a treasure to be grateful for.
Well, and we feel the same way for those of you who join us here daily. Thank you for joining us for this study. It's good to spend this time together. Hope that you've pulled something from our conversation today.
Yeah, we continue to just kind of go through this a chapter at a time. We hope that it doesn't get redundant. We have a lot of chapters left. We hope this is okay. If you want us to change format or to skip books or do something else, we will sort of plow through this as we've been doing. But if you get bored with that, let us know, because we certainly will change the format.
100%. Good to see you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
See you tomorrow. Thank you for spending time with us today as we study Scripture together. If you haven't already, we would invite you to follow us on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube. It's a great way to get notified when these studies happen every day at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, if you've already done that, we would love for you to be able to give the video a like, to share it if you're on Facebook. It's a great way for other people to find the Bible study and be able to join us in this time studying Scripture. If this is your first time here, welcome. It's such a joy to have you be with us this day, and we would love to get to know you better. We would love if you wouldn't mind just taking a minute to go to our website, fpcspiritlake.org/welcome. We'd love to get your name and email address, and we'll follow up with you personally to thank you for spending time with us this day. And for each and every person that is able to study Scripture and engage in this conversation, we want to say thank you. We look forward to our next time with you every weekday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And until then, God bless.